All right. Today, we are opening this podcast up with balance. And I would like to ask my wife, Amber, explain to me what we're talking about today with balance.
So, balance to me is juggling all things and remaining peaceful and purposeful inside. And I think one of the things that made me focus on balance more was honestly having children. I think we were very out of balance for the first many years of our relationship. If you were to like dissect what our life looked like, we were probably 90% work, 10% workout, and focus on ourselves. And although that helped us grow businesses exponentially, like our personal life suffered, our mental and spiritual life suffered. You just get so focused on growing the business and it makes you feel good and it monetarily blesses you. However, other parts of our life suffered. So I think having children, getting married, growing businesses to the next level where it probably started to either affect our relationship or affect how we were maintaining our house, we learned like we got to leverage, right?
Well, I think to lead in on past podcast, that part of it, you're young and selfish.
Yeah.
Part of
And
it,
you don't have any money.
right.
Balance is leveraging, and I'll go into this in a minute.
Yeah, mowing your own grass.
Right.
Versus changing your own oil. Okay, the oil change is $50. Oh, I can do that myself, but it requires 2 hours of my time. If you don't have the money.
Okay, so let's back up and think, how did we grow up? Our parents did everything.
Yes.
They didn't leverage anything. We put out our own mulch. We mowed our own yard. They cleaned their own houses. They changed their own oil and maintained their own
My
cars.
dad still does.
I was going to say, your dad still rotates
Which I
the
appreciate
tires.
that.
Right. But when you're growing businesses to the magnitude that we are, we have to slow down. And I tell every entrepreneur this: you have got to figure out what your dollar per hour is. Sit down and figure out how much money do you make, how many hours do you work a week, and if your dollar per hour is more than the dollar per hour that you could pay somebody else to do those things, you got to leverage it. And in reality, you only have so much time in life. And as we had children and as we grew our businesses and as we had more on our plate, you can feel when you're out of balance and living unaligned. And I feel like I'm probably, I know I'm way better at balancing and leveraging stuff than you are. Because I had to, once we had kids, like I had to give myself time back in my life. I couldn't clean our house to the level that you wanted it cleaned. We both are
Or wash
clean,
our cars.
OCD people, so let's talk about how did we live prior and at what points in time, because I want people to relate to this, at what point in time did we, what did we start to leverage first in our business and at home? And where are we now? Because like I said, we did used to clean our own house. We still do our own laundry.
I always washed my own cars.
You always washed your own cars. We did everything in our business. I mean,
I'm still
sweep the floors because you love to sweep floors. We cleaned the toilets. We literally, this is probably the first ticking bomb that I was ready to kill you.
What's that?
I was pregnant. I was having to work at the gym because our leverage at the gym was not showing up. We were running credit cards manually from 9 p.m. to sometimes 2 a.m. And I looked at you and said, do you know how much other things that we could be doing? Like if we took 5 hours of our life and put it into our business versus running these stinking credit cards, that there's probably technology out there that can do it for us. What are we doing?
So hang on, to back up. I was at a pivoting point that we were mostly tanning was killing it / gym was a small part. And it started reversing itself. We were doing less tanning, more gym membership. And at this point, when I didn't even realize what was going on, probably that we have 20 more credit cards, 30 more credit cards, 40 more credit cards, 50 more credit cards. Wasn't probably that big a deal at first, but then to kind of keep track of all that and try to do it manually.
It became a bigger deal as our businesses grew.
Right. And we
because
both have less time. We're tired. Exactly. She's ready to kill me.
Posting gym equipment.
Yeah,
I could have
all
been
my
marketing
ads.
and doing stuff in my business that could have been what I always consider it is if you are the lead driver in your business, you always need to be doing dollar producing revenue activities before you're doing what I would consider admin lower dollar per hour activities.
No.
And we had grown our businesses and we were the lead dollar producing activity person, but we were still doing everything else. And
And hang
that's
on,
where you burn out.
well, I was a little ahead of the curve with the
Yeah.
24/7 gym.
Yeah, you are.
I was a little ahead of the curve. The technology wasn't quite
There
there
yet.
like it is now. And I'll never forget this. Me and my right hand guy, Bryce, she had put the pressure on me. I'd done a lot of research. And me and Bryce are on the way to Michigan driving like a
10, 12
12-hour
hours.
road trip
Yeah.
for gym equipment. And we called this number and we get a hold of this guy, Anthony, who I still do business with. And he was a godsend. And I'm telling him over the phone, and he was like, man, I'm going to make your life so much easier, but at a cost. And I'm like,
You buy your time back though.
yeah. And so I said, I was all on board because I was like, you know what? At this point, it doesn't matter if this is making my life easier. Hey, let me tell you guys something. That is probably the best decision that I ever made. This is over 10 years ago because I still use the software to this day. They're constantly improving the software. And now I have gyms around the country that uses this software. So big shout out. It's Gym Insight. Good friends of mine.
Praise God, it saved my life and probably our relationship because I would just be ready to kill you.
Yeah.
And I think you always have to ask yourself, when you're ready to leverage, you already know it deep inside of you. And you just need to bite the bullet and sit down and say, where am I feeling angst? Where is this causing me stress? Where is this keeping me from enjoying my family or growing my business or just enjoying some downtime?
But hang on, I'm going to interrupt you and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because most people, including myself, and I know you've done it before, I hear this on a daily basis from other gym owners who I do businesses. But Amber, I can't afford the software, or I can't afford the leverage, or I can't afford that other employee.
But what are they looking at it as?
Right. They're not looking at the cost. So
they're not looking at it as an investment that's going to
Correct.
return and help them grow and leverage their business to the next level.
But I'm dating back to the way me and you looked at it in our 20s.
Yeah.
It's
a scarcity fear.
I want to let everybody know that me and Amber didn't have the blueprint, and we thought the same thing that you probably could think now. Here's the kicker. I learned it early on in my 20s. I'll be 41 in September. Looking back now, I wish I would have implemented a lot of these things sooner.
Yeah.
You figure it out how to pay it then to make you more money in the future. But looking back, I think most people, now I deal with a lot of people in their 50s and 60s who still tell me, oh, Steven, I can't afford them 3 pieces, when I'm 99.9% confident that those pieces are going to make that gym 3 times the amount of money it's making.
But you know that knowledge because you've seen it happen.
Correct.
And I think that's where having a great mentor in your life or an accountability partner that can look at you and say, like, you are under leveraged. You're going to burn yourself out. I even told Daniel this recently. Like, you oftentimes have to slow down throughout the year and ask yourself, what am I doing that I need to be leveraging? I have the girls on my team sit down and first and foremost, what are you doing that's burning you out, that doesn't fulfill you, that doesn't bring you joy? And oftentimes some of those things first start at home because they do want clean houses. They want to have, a great marriage. They want to be an in-present mother, and they want to have a big business. So the activity I make them do is figure out what's their dollar per hour. And I say, okay, if your dollar per hour's, some of the girls on my team's $200 to $400 per hour. That means by the time you clean your house 8 hours, that's $300 to $3,500 that you costed yourself by not paying a cleaner.
Well, it's scarcity mentality.
But when people see the numbers don't lie. The numbers tell the story. The numbers tell you can take that amount of time and leverage it and pay a cleaner and put that time back in your business. Or what is your family worth to you? And that number's priceless.
But I also think it's about sharing this knowledge, and that's why I think we're doing this.
Yeah.
With bigger thinkers who have done it.
Yeah. And give yourself permission to follow their
If
lead.
you're listening or hanging out with people who tell you all the things, but haven't done the work,
Don't listen.
Don't listen. If it's your mama, your brother, your best friend,
And
your
we've had to learn
cousin,
that the hard way because our parents are still like
yeah,
from School of Hard Knocks,
yeah,
which is great. It poured beautiful things into us.
absolutely.
But we have to say, how does this affect me? How does it affect our relationship?
Sure.
And how does it affect our children? So I think what would you say the first few things were that you leveraged in your life and business? I mean, you used to work your gym, your tanning salon, gym equipment, the nightclub, the
Probably
restaurant.
making Bryce full time,
Yeah.
even though he'd already worked for me.
So I want you to think that your leverage is in other people.
Well, and I'll tell you this, and I've told Daniel this for a long time. You have to have the right.
Yeah.
And when I say the right, you have to have the man or woman in your corner that you pay very well, that is you if you're not there, is you if you're sick, or if y'all are that busy and killing it, that you can rely on them to take the slack or to push forward, or if you're having a bad day, push you forward and you push them as well.
I was going to say, the point I want to make here is this. When I first started growing and leveraging myself, I tried to find other people just like me. You need somebody not like you.
Yeah.
Our right-hand people, Mary Carol and
Opposite.
Bryce, are total opposite of us, but they're not afraid to tell us what we need to hear. They're not afraid to speak truth. They're not afraid to check us real quick, but they also think very operational. We're more like sales people, dreams. They're more like, no, that's not going to work. That's not, they look out for us.
Well, I think Bryce or Mary Carol, Bryce gets more mad sometimes than I would get in a situation. Yeah.
Fireball over there.
Yeah.
Her too.
And-
And we're different. You know, she gets fired up day one and I sit there and I'm like, I'm numb and I'm trying to figure it out. And she's like pissed. And the next day I come in and I'm like, I'm pissed now
Well,
too.
she's more like me.
She's more like you.
And then Bryce will think about it. It just depends on the situation.
Yeah.
He's more methodical thinker than I
Yeah.
am, because I can fall off at the handle. But like with me and him together, like we're total opposites. I think huge. I think from a marketing standpoint, where Bryce's brain don't function like me. And
Bryce can fix anything.
oh yeah.
But you need that because that's not what
Well,
your
that's not
strength
my
is.
specialty.
And I think the beautiful thing is those right-hand people in your life, in your business especially, almost need to be like a marriage because they need to counterbalance whatever your weaknesses are and you counterbalance their weaknesses. But together, you're so much stronger. And then as a business owner, it allows you to breathe. It allows you to grow your business with another dynamic. And it really gives you strength in your business.
Well, I also think, though, going back to like me and you, that's marriage.
1,000%.
I've talked to so many men, and the missing link is typically the woman at home who don't support them.
Yeah. And vice versa for the woman. A
Yeah.
lot of women in real estate can be very successful and make a lot of money. And one of the first questions I always ask is, how's your marriage? Because if you're not successful and then all of a sudden you come into the team and I make you make six figures the first year, it does not always sit well with a husband.
And hang on a second. So she knows this. I've always told her this. I could give two shits if she makes more money than me. But I will tell you.
Not all men are that way, though.
Right. But I will tell you, if that was to happen, that would push me
Right.
to better myself, because I was brought up to be the man and to make the money. It's just how I was raised. There's not a right or wrong.
So let's go back to things we've leveraged. So in our businesses, we've leveraged people, whether it's right-hand people, whether it's admin staff, whether it's buyer's agents in my business. You always have to find what, in real estate, you know, listings are the lead indicator and the lead driver of your business. So I've always focused on listings. And then I've sat down with myself once a year, once a quarter now even, and said, what is it I need to take off my plate next? So at home, you know, when we first bought our first house together on Lacey Holt Road, I'm like, we have to get a nice lawnmower. We got to stripe the yard.
She
And
talked
Steven's
pure
out there
crap about
driving
her.
in circles. And I was like, sweet Jesus.
No, we bought a brand new John Deere zero turn. Nice lawnmower.
The best of the best, right?
Yeah, I've financed it. Just
But you
so
can have the
everybody
best
knows.
of the best and not know how to mow a yard. He did not know how to mow a yard.
This
He
is
was
almost
mowing in
14 years
circles.
ago, to date
I'm like,
back,
you got to
everybody.
stripe it. You got to stripe it. We got to fertilize it. Because my dad always had our yard looking like Scott's lawn, even in the country. But I quickly learned, and this is where I think a lot of people fail. They have not built themselves up to be able to leverage it first, which I encourage. Everybody's fully capable of growing themselves and growing their income to the point in time that they can leverage things.
No, and I also think there's something to be said for somebody doing the work.
Oh,
Meaning
yeah.
like mowing the grass, cleaning the
Oh,
house.
I loved mowing the grass.
Right.
But when I started to have a family and grew my business and had other things, I started to not love to mow the grass anymore.
Well, I also think they need to know it's okay to change.
It's
or
okay to
adapt.
change.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
It's okay to let go.
You know how much it's hard for me to let go sometimes.
It's way easier for me to leverage and let go than him. But I also think it comes down to like spiritually, I know when I get out of balance internally and when I feel like I'm doing things that I shouldn't be doing, or I'm doing something where I feel like I would love to be spending more time with my kids than doing this right now, or I would love to be pouring into my business, or I'd love to be giving my husband more love. That's when I know leverage needs to happen, when it emotionally and spiritually starts to affect me and it starts to drain me and it makes me not like things. That's always my indicator of like, you got to audit your life and ask yourself, is like mowing the yard and checking that box and feeling proud and saying like, I can mow my own yard, does that really feel good
Let me
anymore?
ask you this. What do you say to the person that says to you, Amber, I just can't afford that?
I asked them, is it a mental thing like you can't afford it? Or have you sat down and looked at your dollar per hour? Can you afford it? Because what happens as you grow businesses or just grow in life in general, even if you're not an entrepreneur, your cost of living life and time goes up. Like if you could tell us, you know, we're going to talk about health and longevity, but if I came to you right now and said you could pay $1 million and guaranteed to live to 100, healthy and look good and have a good quality of living, would you?
It'd be a no-brainer for me.
Taking the things off your plate that cause you stress, that cause you angst, that cause you relationship issues. Stress is a leading indicator for any type of disease growing in your body. You're actually not only buying your time back, you're more than likely buying your health back, because stress becomes disease. It becomes inflammation. So it's more than just buying time back to do other things. It's buying your peace, your health, your mental health, your relationship health, and all those things magnify. That it's a snowball effect. When you are just, and this is how I look at it, if I do more things throughout my day, because I've leveraged off all the things off my plate that I don't want to do, if I'm doing more things throughout the day that I love doing, that bring me joy, I'm a happier person. I'm vibrating at a higher level. I'm walking in my faith. I have a stronger relationship with the Lord because I'm trusting in Him that if I leverage those things and be obedient, that's what He's told me to do, to leverage it, that He's going to bless me tenfold. And that's where like your faith walk has to come in line with, yes, this is my dollar per hour, but this is, you know, does God want me mowing my yard and telling me, I mean, is that really what His purpose is for my life? No. But if I can buy myself time back to do more of what my purpose is, like that's living at such an nth level in life. That's when like you magnify and duplicate and vibrate and live with more purpose and attract more things in your life. Because if you're busy doing this and God has this over here for you, but your ego says, I need to still do these things, you're keeping yourself from here.
Well, also and I'll chime in on the question I just asked you. What I normally ask someone when they tell me, hey, you know, but Stephen, I can't afford to hire this person or that person. I normally will question their lifestyle. And then I figure out one thing.
You got to dive deeper with
Well, one thing I'll say, well, where do you spend your money?
Yeah.
Do you go out to eat a lot?
Yeah.
One thing Amber will tell you, we don't eat out Monday through Friday. And
and oftentimes
like that
you
for
always
years.
say you can't afford not to. Like there's people that come to the gym and say, I can't afford a $35 to $55 a month gym membership. And you say to them like, a gym membership is leverage.
It's the cheapest thing you can do though.
You can't afford not to.
Right.
Because what's the cost of your health?
Well, hang on. So then they'll say, oh, you know, my wife don't cook. Let's just say,
Yeah.
could be the man. This is not just a woman thing. And I'll say, okay, well, what do you spend? Oh, well, I go to lunch, it's $20. And then we Uber Eats and, you know, the family, it's $75. Let's say $100 a day. Okay. So $700 a week times that by the month. Oh, you can more than afford to do this, but you're going to have to cook at home a few nights a week instead of eating out. So basically what people don't realize is how you finagle the system. It's not how much money you make. It's
It's how
always
you
how you
spend
spend
it.
the money.
And also what's important to you.
Right.
And I think we got to points in our life where like our kids are important, our marriage is important, our mental sanity is important. You know, things that you're not leveraging will start to steal your energy and joy from what you should be focused on. And that's where I always say, and I ask the girls on my team too, like, what's draining your energy right now, and what is it you need to let go of, or what system is it that we need to put in play? You know, so things at home that we leverage are, we have somebody mow our yard, we have somebody do our landscaping, we have people that power wash, we have inside the house, we have people that clean. I have a lady that comes and helps me do organizational things throughout the house, so the house not only stays clean, it stays organized.
Our cars get washed once a
Our
week.
cars get washed once a week. But these are all things we built up to.
And let me stress this.
Little at a
Hang on.
time.
Let me stress this though. These are also things that I think make us joyful. That
1,000%.
Amber will tell you, if I drive a Pinto, Steven's Pinto is going to be clean. That is just, I like my inside spotless. I like the outside. I like my house spotless. Listen, if I have a storage building, I'm probably going to finish it on the inside. It's how I'm wired.
OCD, you should see his garage.
It's how I'm wired.
But what people don't realize, and I think it's something people don't learn, is your cleanliness of your car, your house is just a reflection of the cleanliness of your mind. And if you walk into environments, whether it's your home, your car, and it's dirty, it steals your energy.
Well, I think then I also put stress on you that I need to
That
clean
is
it.
stress.
But if you're exhausted and you don't go clean, it's like so many people's like, oh, I should have washed my car 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And then that's still like weighs
That's
on the
dread.
mind.
It drains your energy.
One thing I'll tell you about me in business is when I tell somebody something, hey, go do this, tell them I want it done instant.
He wanted it done yesterday.
Yeah. And the reason I'm like that is because I don't want it weighing on me. And I don't want it weighing on them. So
But
like, let's
you
just do it.
realize it weighs on you.
It does.
I think some people don't have the mental clarity that it weighs on them. It does weigh on them.
Well, hold on. I think
They're
they
not
push it
paying
under the rug.
attention to it. Yeah.
We talked about this on previous podcasts. If there's a problem with me and her,
Yeah, we do with
she
it.
used to very much push it under the rug. It's the way she was raised. It's
I
what
just
she
prayed
saw.
and said, Lord, please intervene in this
Yeah,
situation
but-
and handle it for me.
But I also
you
think
still got to
we
take
could have
action.
went 2 weeks and you wouldn't even have spoke about it.
Yeah.
But then deep down somewhere,
It was living.
Amber, that
carry
might have, and hear me out. If maybe I didn't even know that upset her what I said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still to this day, I could say something that I don't even mean. I'm totally just picking. And if I realize that that upset her, like I need to instantly say, babe, I was literally just picking, like, please don't, because we've been together 17 years, but still sometimes you're picking, you don't even realize that you hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And then I could say something and don't even bother her that somebody else could hear me say, and they'd be like, I can't believe she's listening to that. It's because she knows me.
So I would ask yourself, if you're in a place where you're just feeling like drowning, burning out, you're snippy with your kids, you're not spending the time you need with your husband, your house is a mess, your car's a mess, I think you have to ask yourself, like, what is it I need to leverage off my plate first?
Well, I also think too, you got to give, especially parents, yourself some me time with your significant other.
Yeah.
And that's part of balance.
Well, the balancing aspect of that is you guys have to stay in a union together where you're on the same page. Because I think what can happen with a lot of women is we stay at home a little bit more, usually, not always, but if you have younger kids, you're at home a lot more. Like you need an escape out of that house sometimes, and that's your balance. So balance to me is taking stuff off your plate that you can pay other people to do that gives you time back in your life to enjoy it. We're all going to have what I consider seasons of being out of balance. When you have newborns, you're going to have a season of being out of balance because your sleep's not what it needs to be. When you're growing a business, you're going to have seasons where you're out of balance because you're just head down focused on either growing the business or the business is taking off and you don't have the leverage you need yet. So you're having to work more hours. And again, balance in that aspect needs to be, you need to have a conversation straight up with your husband of, I'm going to take my business to the next level. I know I don't probably have the people in place that I need, but I have a goal of selling 125 houses this year. So I need you to support me. I need you to be understanding. I'm going to have some weeks that I'm probably going to work 40 hours to 60 hours a week and on weekends. Balance is having the conversation so where the relationship stays healthy. and setting the expectations with one another, even with your children, now that our children are older. I think there's sometimes you say, well, we're going to have to work Saturday
Well,
morning.
we just involve them.
We bring them in. Yeah, we can because we're business owners.
I get it, but I'm saying for anybody listening to this, that just so, like, most of the time I hear people say, if I can't afford it or whatever, let's talk about this real fast. My mindset since I was young has always been, okay, in order for me to do this, I need to work a little harder to doing this.
And build it up.
Yeah. But
and that gives yourself the permission to do it.
How many times have you heard this? Oh, I'm not paid to do that at 4 p.m. on Saturday.
You do it anyways because that's what you're supposed to do, and that plants a good seed.
So we're commissioned, technically.
Yeah.
Amber don't get paid $1 to answer the phone to show a house at 4 p.m. on Saturday.
We don't get paid $1 till something closes.
Right. And I'm the same
way.
So
we work hours until
as an entrepreneur. But how many times have we heard that from friends, family, people? If they're not paid on that clock, they don't do the work. Well, guess what?
That's a limited mindset, and you're blocking your blessings because you're telling the world, you're telling God that you're not going to do something unless you get paid. And I will tell you, you need to wake up every day and say to yourself, who is it that I can pour value into? The money will show up abundantly if you live life like that. Don't worry about punching the time clock. Tell yourself, what is it that I can do to go bless somebody and pour value into them? And if you make up with that mindset every single day, I promise you can achieve whatever it is you want to achieve financially. You just need to worry about.
When you were going with me to Expos, Arnold Classics, Olympias, way before Steven was Steven.
Yeah.
I'm the bodybuilding
Before
fan.
super fitness was even a thing.
Well, super fitness was a thing, but I'm like, it's a side business.
You weren't saying it.
Yeah, no. But tell them all those relationships, those handshakes, those photos or whatever, you have saw it pay 10 times.
You went above and beyond before it became a monetary distribution to you. You planted seeds is how I say it. You've got to plant seeds. You got to go above and beyond when you don't get paid to. And even when you start getting paid to, you still need to go above and beyond because you're going to look different. So we've learned how to leverage things in our business and in our personal life so it allows us to balance life. And I always say there's 5 buckets, right? 5 buckets to balance in life. The ones you need to pay attention to first are the buckets. If they were glass, if you drop them, they would explode and you would be so shattered. Your relationship spiritually with whatever you believe in needs to be one of your focuses. So you are the person you want to be first and foremost. That's a bucket that I don't ever want to drop ever again in my life. Your second needs to be your relationships with your spouse, with the people inside your business, with your children. Those are all super, super important. Your health, which we're going to talk about in a future podcast, your health, your business, and then essentially your financials, So if you don't own a business, it's wherever you work, but you do have to focus on pouring into all those things every day to truly feel like you're living balanced. This joker doesn't miss a day at the gym. Why? Because that makes him feel balanced. I get up every morning and spend quiet time with the Lord with myself. Why? Because that centers me and makes me feel balanced. I do that. You do your morning cardio. Those things done first and foremost in the day set the stage for the rest of the day to stay balanced and aligned with who it is we are at the core, who it is we want to be. So then it becomes easier to say no with things that don't align with us or align with the vision of where we're growing.
But tell everyone too, me and Amber have said for years, hey, we're going to take a trip, whether it's a day, a weekend, a 3-day. We don't do a lot of trips that are like multiple days.
We went on like 3 more than 5-day vacations in 17 years.
It just don't happen. We feel like we can't leave the business, whatever. But tell them every time we go somewhere, whether it's 1 day, 3 days, we had a goal that like, it was kind of like once a month. And then we were like, you know what? That's not going to happen.
It's
so
hard
we'll
with
do
kids.
every other month. We still get out of balance.
Yeah.
We still don't do the trips.
You got to have an accountability partner.
Right.
You got to keep yourself in check, and you got to ask yourself almost weekly, how am I out of balance right now and what doesn't feel good and how do I need to realign
Well, no
myself?
one's perfect.
No.
So we want people
balance
to realize,
is a lie.
and that's why we're doing
perfect.
this.
Yeah.
That we're not perfect.
No.
We don't expect anybody, but we want to kind of let people know that what
it's just like working
do,
out. It's a consistent
consistency.
effort that you have to make day after day, week after week, month
Correct.
after month, and it changes based upon the season of life you're in, how old your kids are, where your business is at. Lord, what's going on with the world? During COVID, we were all didn't know what to do with ourselves because we had
Right.
so much time, you know, but that's a leading indicator of if you're feeling off or feeling a certain way or dreading things, you're probably out of balance. And ask yourself first and foremost, what is it that I can do and leverage to get back into balance and start to live a more joyful, happy, peaceful, aligned, purposeful life that just brings you all the things money can't buy.
Well, I think this will lead us into the next podcast
Yeah.
of health
Yep.
and what we do from years ago to now in our 40s
Yep.
that we are
To age
doing
so gracefully.
to not only age gracefully, but just to be optimal.
Yep.
I always tell people I want to be at the optimal level. I want to look good, feel good. And by the way, this is not look good for the outer appearance.
It's your inner
Yeah,
feel
it's
good.
the inner. That's what people realize. I don't care who finds me attractive as long as she finds me attractive and vice versa.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you feel a certain way about yourself, then
Got to do something about it.
and other people's going to feel the way you feel
Yep.
because you project it.
Yeah.
And so
So stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to dive into one of the questions Stephen gets daily almost. At least once a week he gets this question. But we hope to uncover some things that will help you just live a more joyful, fulfilled, balanced life.
all right, like and subscribe, everybody, to our channel. We appreciate you tuning in. YouTube, Spotify, check us out on all platforms, Apple, and we will see you on the next episode.